It's lovely to be in the People's Republic of Stroud Green, and you know your ward council as well. No introductions needed, but Tim and Kirsten and I think Raj is coming a bit later on, is also coming as well. And we're all at your disposal at regular advice surgeries and anything that we can do to help. The last time I was in this lovely hall, I was at the Children's Fair Trade morning, and that's what I love about Stroud Green. People are very socially aware, and even the little children are very keen to sell beautiful olive oil from Palestine and all sorts of other chocolate from fair trade countries and all sorts of interesting things. So this is a lovely, lovely part of the constituency. And this really brings me to a very simple point, which is I don't want my constituency to change. I love representing all of Hornsey and Wood Green. I love Stroud Green. In a previous life, when I was a borough councillor next door, I represented Tottenham ward, which of course is where Tesco's is, and along the other side of Stroud Green ward. So I feel very much that it's, my political hinterland as well as anything else. What the Boundary Commission seeks to do, it's part of a package of measures which would like to, first of all, leave the Lords completely as it is. And I don't know what the view of the Lords really is. There are lots of experts in the Lords, but there's nothing stopping them standing for an election, in my view. So we could have an elected Lords and reduce it from about 900 to maybe 300 and leave the Commons as it is. That's my own view, and one which was made very eloquently last Friday by Pat Glass MP, who did a very good speech in the House of Commons. Please look it up on Hansard, where she just laid out the case for, really, the democratic mandate isn't really to get rid of MPs, maybe to make sure that we don't cost as much, perhaps, but it was really about the democratic mandate really is not to have more and more prime ministerial appointments of any party into the Lords and make it balloon, which actually costs £28,000 a day more since Mr Cameron put all of his appointees into the Lords when he resigned. So the push really should be on addressing that particular anomaly and not addressing the MP situation, which I feel as a London MP, I think in terms of the casework that we do and in terms of the people we see. I've just opened my 2000th new case of constituency casework, and I have my regular advice surgery at Wood Green because it's got a lift for people with disabilities, but I obviously do pop-up surgeries as well. And I think in general, London MPs do actually work quite hard. And of course, as I'm sure you're all aware, there are 2 million more people who have not been counted in the current calculation of the Boundary Commission because there was a cut-off point before the last big push on the electoral register. So after that, 2 million more people joined the register. And these Boundary Commissions are based on a false number, if you like. And of course, we know that people who move on and off the register a lot are people who tend to move a lot, many ethnic minority citizens, and also younger people. And I wonder which party they may vote for. Not the one in government. But it does feel a little bit as though the government is trying to kind of gerrymander things to some degree. So I'm hugely encouraged by the turnout tonight. I think, the community argument for Stroud Green, a village as it's always been in relation to Crouch End, rather than, I think, Tottenham and the Lee Valley. And obviously we have the railway line which divides us from the Tottenham constituency, and to me that seems like a natural kind of boundary. Personally, I love Tottenham. I started my political life in Tottenham as a caseworker for David Lammy in 2000, 16 years ago, and it's how I came into politics, but I do think it's a different community from Stroud Green and Crouch End. So I've written to the Boundary Commission broadly to say that, and obviously we're waiting for them now to crunch all the numbers and to see. It depends very much where they take the starting point from, because they've come up with all sorts of different designs and different elements in the last sort of 10-15 years. I understand that there have been 4 different boundary reviews just since 1980. And I know that my predecessor, Lynn Featherstone, also made representations to say that Stroud Green should remain in the Hornsey and Wood Green constituency. So this isn't really about party politics, it's about neighbourhoods and communities. And I'm very clear that Stroud Green is part of Hornsey and Wood Green, and not really as much part of the Tottenham. That doesn't mean we don't cross the bridge occasionally, but it does mean that in terms of natural boundaries, community boundaries, neighbourhoods, we feel, and if you look at the geography of the ward as well, as you know, once you go over the hill, it's one street to Crouch End. And so it does seem a bit ridiculous to have this suggestion that this particular village or neighbourhood should go into a constituency to the east, which really stretches almost to the Lee Valley. That really is a different neighbourhood. Now, I'm going to stop there because I want to hear from you, because it'd be lovely to have more evidence that we can, if we like to add more evidence or add more information, we can. But, you know, rest assured that we're making the representations which we need to make to really keep Stroud Green as it is, because we don't have a problem with the numbers. You know, the Boundary Commission is saying that there's a problem with numbers, so that, but actually we've got about the right numbers, between 70 and 80,000. So we really don't understand why this sort of artificial move has happened. It must be because they started at one point and this is where they've got to. But, you know, certainly in terms of the substantive arguments around communities, neighbourhoods, there's no reason for change. Thank you.